Hey everyone, it is time for another Remington's Ramblings. I know I haven't done this in a while, but, well, I'm doing one now. Okay, so anyways, first of all, happy 4th of July, everyone. I've got the window open, and occasionally I hear dumbasses out there setting off fireworks, even though it's still broad daylight. Figure, you know, if you're gonna drive all the way down to LA to pick up real fireworks, you could, I don't know, wait until dark to set them off. Okay, so, got the notebook, and, well, since it's 4th of July, why don't I do a military story, you know? And then we'll see where we go from there. Okay, no, we're not going to talk about that one now. Warrior Week. Warrior Week, okay. Might as well talk about Warrior Week. I laugh now, but oh, it was horrible. Kind of, but it was also the funnest experience of basic training. Okay, when I went to Air Force basic training, it was 6.5 weeks long. I know that in the past few years they've increased the length of it. It is now 8 weeks or 2 months long. But when I went, it was 6.5 weeks. And I don't know how long Warrior Week is supposed to be now. I think it's supposed to be a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, to give you like a real battlefield experience. But when I went, Warrior Week was a week. It was Warrior Week because it lasted 1 week. Okay. So, anyhow, let me see if I can dredge up some memories. Okay. Basically, when you're basic training, you know, everything has to look perfect, like spot on. Basically, you could sum up your entire basic training experience by saying, pay attention to detail. If the military could beam instructions into your head, those instructions would be, pay attention to detail. And then they would be able to make basic training maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks long at the very most, and then bam, you're done. But no, they want you to pay attention to detail, and they hammer it into you. So you got to look perfect. So, you know, uniforms got to look good. Your shoes have got to, your boots have got to be shined. And I remember, you know, walking around with my shined boots. I shined them pretty crappy because I didn't know how to shine boots. I just did the best I could. And occasionally, you know, you would see people walking around with 2 canteens. You know, when you're in basic training, you get like 1 canteen. It might have changed it now, but during my time, it was 1 canteen. You got 1 canteen of water. But occasionally you'd see guys walk around with 2 canteens on their belt. And their boots looked pretty crappy. They were just covered with dust and dirt and all this stuff. And I was saying, how in the world could they get away with this? The answer was Warrior Week. Warrior Week is when they take you away from the dorms, the barracks, and they drive you down to kind of almost a middle of nowhere part of the base where it's just, you know, it's out there. There's like obstacle courses, and there's, you know, a few buildings, tents, but, you know, it's like, it's a light simulation of what you might experience when you're deployed. Of course, anyone who has really been deployed can tell you that Warrior Week is nothing compared to being deployed, but it just gives you a little taste, a little experience. So, I can remember their dusty boots, and, you know, finally we got to talk to one of these guys, and he told us about Warrior Week, and he said, oh, as soon as you get off the bus, your boots are ruined. Yeah, because they, you know, there's this dust and dirt everywhere, because, you know, you're not on paved ground anymore. You're on freaking the bare ground. So I remembered that. And when we finally got through all of our stuff, we're going to go to Warrior Week, I'd finally passed all my physical stuff, like the running, the push-ups, the sit-ups. I scraped by, but, you know, I passed. And as much as, you know, the TIs probably had bets on whether or not I would actually make it, I proved them wrong. Those that said I wouldn't make it, I proved them wrong. I made it. I wasn't going to get stuck there. I wasn't going to get recycled. And all the education stuff, all the the classes that we had, I passed all that. One guy did not pass. I don't remember his name. I know he was an Asian guy. He didn't. For some reason, he wasn't able to pass the all the written tests. So he got recycled back, which is unfortunate because he's really cool. But such is life. Anyhow, so it's the. I think we're supposed to be leaving for Warrior Week in a few hours. We're supposed to be getting stuff packed, getting things straightened up. And I see these guys, down the row away, shining their boots. And I don't know if they wanted me to shine my boots along with them. But if they did, I flat out refused. I don't think I probably didn't say anything to them. And they probably didn't say anything to me, but I knew that they were idiots and they were wasting their time. Because I knew that as soon as we got off that bus, our boots are going to look like crap. I wasn't going to waste time shining my boots. And what do you know? Got everything packed up, duffel bags, got out onto the bus with all our stuff. They drove us out there. We stood up, put the duffel bags on, walked out. As soon as I stepped down off of that bus, I took a fraction of a second to look down. As soon as my boot hit the ground, it's like it went down and then dust just went onto the top of it. I'm not even kidding. You just hit the ground and there goes all that dust onto, the boots. So those guys that had just shined their boots, they'd wasted their time because now the boot wax just made the dust stick to it all that much more. You're not supposed to look good during Warrior Week. You're out there. It's a field experience. I forget who said it, but basically the saying goes that no battlefield-ready unit ever passed inspection. And it is very true. If you're ready for battle, you will never pass a parade inspection, like ever. So while we were there, this is like physically exhausting stuff. We're sweating. It is Texas, it is the middle of Texas, the middle of summer. We're just sweating buckets. We are literally crawling around in the sand, the dirt, and the mud. And my flight, we got all of 2 showers while we were there. We got to take a shower twice. So we felt pretty dirty and grungy. A lot of the basic training experience is kind of blocked out in my mind as some really, stuff that I would rather not remember. But Warrior Week is more or less in there. I mean, there was very basic combat training. Learn how to disassemble an M16 rifle, fire it, clean it, the gas mask. Oh, brother. Okay, here we go. The gas mask story. This is one that I will remember to my dying day. All right. So we were issued gas masks, and we learned how to get into mop gear. Let me see. How did it go? Mop 0, nothing. Mop 1, suit. Mop 2, suit and boots. Mop 3, suit and boots and mask. Mop 4, suit and boots and mask and gloves. So that's how we learned all the different stages of mop. So when they say mop 2, mop 3, mop 4, whatever, you know how much you have to put on. Alright, so we were carrying around these gas masks that were strapped to our thighs in these cases and stuff. So then came time for the gas chamber. Okay, this is where the horribleness comes in. Flights are separated by male and female. All right, so they had us go in 2 flights at a time, one male, one female, 2 separate lines. We go into this building, small building, big empty open room with this something in the center, like this pedestal with that's like heated and stuff. And you got your cadre guys there. They're wearing like their full gas masks and stuff because they're working the gas chamber. So this is supposed to give us confidence in our gear so that we know it works. We're outside. We put on the gas mask. Then we go inside. We walk in and we stand in these 2 separate lines. And the TI, the cadres, they take out this container of some kind of liquid. They pour it into this bowl that's on this heated pedestal, and smoke just comes up. And they had to stand there for about a minute or two, just breathing. So and we were breathing normally. The skin on my neck, it was bare, and it started to kind of itch. It was irritated. It wasn't like a really strong itch, but it was just like if I could have moved, I would have wanted to scratch it. But my neck right here was just right around the mask before it hit my collar. It was exposed skin, so I knew something was in the air. Well, then the cadres had people take off their masks. The first person in the front of each line would take off their mask, and they would say whatever the cadre told them to say. Sometimes it would be their name, sometimes their hometown, it was their address, or it was just whatever. It was so that they would have to breathe out and then breathe in, and then they would get the full effects of the gas chamber, so that all the people behind them would see that they were safe while they wore their mask, but as soon as they took it off, then they weren't safe. So, as soon as each person in the front of the line said their thing, they could both go. You had to wait until the other person finished saying whatever it was they were supposed to say, and then you could go. So, I'm closer to the back of the line, but finally I get up to the front, and they say, okay, you two, take off your masks and tell me the name of your hometown and what state you're from. So, I go click, 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 loosen the mask, pull it off, I take this breath, and I can barely say anything. I'm just hacking and choking, and I'm able to cough out my hometown and my home state, and then I'm supposed to wait for the other person to finish saying their thing. Well, wouldn't you know it, the girl standing beside me couldn't get her mask off. I don't know. Maybe her hair was caught in it. Maybe she was just being a little pussy-ass bitch and not wanting to go through it. So I am standing there hacking and coughing and choking and not being able to breathe. Breathing in all this freaking crap. And I have to stand there and wait for this bitch to get finished. She hasn't even taken her mask off yet. I was probably in there for a good minute. I was damn near about to pass out until finally the cadre said, "You, get out." So, I get my ass out of there. That pissed me off. That pissed me off so much. That bitch made me stand there while she didn't get her freaking mask off and breathe all that shit in. But you know what? To add insult to injury, when I got out, there was a cadre standing right outside, and I guess I was holding my mask wrong or something. So I come out of there, and they're like, "You're holding your mask wrong. Give me a 341." Oh my gosh. I'm gonna stab someone. But, no, what was I gonna do? I'm just glad that I'm breathing oxygen now. So, I just reach into my pocket, freaking pull out a 341. I make sure to unfold it. I'm not gonna be a dumbass and give them a folded 341. You give a TI a folded 341, they say, "What? You think I work for you?" Then you got to give them another one. If you turn in enough 341s during a week, you fail for that week and you get recycled. And I had been told by the TIs that getting a 341 pulled is bad enough, but getting one pulled during Warrior Week is horrible. Anyways. So I got a 341 pulled right outside the gas chamber. I thought I was gonna, get washed back or recycled or something, but thankfully nothing happened. I just came out there holding a freaking gas mask and they thought it was wrong. So they can kiss my lily white ass. Alright. So there's my experience with the gas mask. The last day during Warrior Week was... I think it was the obstacle course, although I can't be sure. There is one extremely dirty part of Warrior Week, and that's the obstacle course and the simulated battlefield experience, where you have to get down on the ground and crawl around holding your big rubber M16. So, I think it was the obstacle course, which is the dirtiest part of the whole Warrior Week thing. We're down there, we're crawling in the dirt, we're climbing stuff, we're jumping stuff, and finally we're done, and we have finished Warrior Week. We've graduated. We get our airman's coin. Freaking A, the airman coin. This is round piece of metal that basically says you're an airman. You endured all this stuff, you passed this stuff. You're now just about done. So, our TI, which at that time, Staff Sergeant Burley had handed us off to Staff Sergeant Thomas. Staff Sergeant Burley was our original TI. But apparently he had taken leave so that he could go to his sister's wedding. So partway through, he had to hand us off to Staff Sergeant Thomas. And she was a real hard ass. I thought Burley was bad enough. Oh man. Well, they were both bad enough. Anyways. So there's Staff Sergeant Thomas. And she has to go down the line of all of us standing there, handing us, our airman's coins and shaking our hand, looking us in the eye, and breathing the same air that is directly around us. And we are dirty as all get out. I cannot imagine how bad we must all smell. We don't notice anything because we all smell the same. Horrible. So I could kind of tell that, as proud as she was that we got through all this stuff, especially me, the freaking guy that no one thought would make it, she probably wanted to be somewhere else just from the smell. That, such is life, especially in basic training. Is there anything else about Warrior Week? Okay, Warrior Week. I've got just a few minutes left. Let me run through a little bit of the combat training. There was only one time in basic training that I really laughed and was having fun, and they told me not to. We were given, our fake guns, and it was night. They turned on these floodlights in our camp, and there was these big ass speakers with these air raid sirens going off, and sounds of explosions and gunfire and stuff, and it was supposed to simulate us being attacked. And this like, the thing that popped in my mind was LARPing. Like, for RPGs, LARPing, live action role playing. We were in fatigues with, like, these flak vests and helmets and these fake guns, and we're running around holding these things going, using deadly force, using deadly force, using deadly force. And I paired myself up with this guy I'd never seen before. And we were just, like, running around. We're having fun. I'm actually laughing. I'm exhilarated. And this cadre ran up and, like, pointed her gun at us and shot us with these blanks from a rifle. And then, like, you're not supposed to be having fun. Stop laughing. Stop smiling. And then ran off. The only time I had fun in basic training, I wasn't allowed to. Oh my gosh. It was still fun though. And the food, it was MREs, but it was fan-freaking-tastic because they actually gave us time to eat. Whereas before, I might be lucky if I had 5 minutes to eat. One time I think our TI gave us one time 10 seconds to eat breakfast just because we were running late for an appointment and we were like the last ones in there. We were the water guys. We manned the water station. But in Warrior Week, they gave us 30 minutes to eat. It was like a mini vacation. We could actually sit down and enjoy our food. We're not just shoveling this stuff in our mouth. It could have tasted like candy. It could have tasted like cardboard. It wouldn't matter because we weren't tasting it. But anyways. Wow. Took up all this time. But it is the 4th of July. Might as well talk about a few more military experiences. So, looks like Warrior Week is crossed off the list. So anyways, once again, happy 4th of July, everyone. You know, if you've got your own basic training stories, or if there's actually someone watching me that was in Air Force basic training and you know Sergeant Burley or Sergeant Thomas, you know, go ahead and, you know, leave some comments down below. Anyways, thanks for listening. That's all I have for you this time, and I am signing out.